The hardest part is the uncertainty. Once they know what the deal is, they can kind of plan around anything.
A presentarvi i nostri ospiti di questa settimana, Matthew Sawyer, adjunct professor alla NYU e della Columbia University, e Adam Benowitz, amministratore delegato e fondatore di Vox Funding. Welcome to both of you, and thank you for coming.
It's nice to see you. Thank you for inviting us.
Thanks for having us.
Matthew, I will start with you because I wonder what is your take about this postponement to August 1st of the so-called reciprocal tariff, and what does it mean from your perspective in terms of tactic from the White House?
Well, I think you have to take a long-term view of things, and particularly to take a look at, what Trump's strategy is in terms of this overall, tactics that he's doing. And I'd go back to his book that he wrote back in 87, The Art of the Deal, where he talked about various things about thinking big, making sure that, you use your leverage. And then another one is if you can't walk, you can't talk. So in thinking about, how he's approaching this, if you look back at those things, he's employing some of those tactics. He's trying to do something that's, huge and big. He's trying to also, in terms of maximize his options. That was another thing that he had talked about. So the fact that he's, using these things, and then also he's really applying pressure, on his partners. Whether I think that this is, the right strategy and the right way to do it, but that's just in terms of analyzing it. So I think this delay is just part of an overarching, negotiation that he's doing.
Adam, what is your take?
Well, I think he's an instinctual creature. He's like a great white shark of a politician. When he senses pressure he likes to put it on. And he doesn't hold himself like a lot of politicians feel like if they say something, they have to do it. Trump feels like he can change whatever is best. And so I think the delay is to put more pressure. He likes deadlines, and then he likes to get something and do another deadline. But I think he'll play it the way he plays it, like an instinctual creature.
Experience, Adam, do you think that tariffs will have a one-off impact on tariffs, or as many participants within the Federal Reserve System has signaled in the so-called minute, there will be actually a persistent effect?
I think the fear and uncertainty of how things are going to be is what signals all the price changes. If people think there will be escalating tariffs, then people can price higher to do them. But I think that it's both Trump's bargaining strength, but also sometimes a detriment to the small businessman is the just pure uncertainty if they don't know what it's going to be. They don't know how to make investments. They don't know whether to think through product lines that they're going to come out with because they just don't know what's going to happen. But I think that what people think is eventually it will all settle itself and we'll move on to a different issue at some point.
And Adam, what are you seeing in terms of what the U.S. companies are doing to face this high level of uncertainty? For example, do they fear lack of visibility and or a very high level in tariffs? What are you seeing, and can you share some anecdote?
I think that's it's a great question, Stefani. I think that what I'm seeing, the hardest part is the uncertainty. Once they know what the deal is, they can kind of plan around anything. But I think it's not just whether they're manufacturing here, but it's also the supply chains. Like if they don't know the costs of their products, it makes it very hard to price them now. But one of the things we see is we do a lot of construction type lending at Vox. And what people are doing is pricing the jobs and the labor. In other words, the part that they control, like let's say general contractor that we're funding, will price the job of the labor and how to get it done. And they'll leave almost a blank in the spot for supplies and building materials. And they'll bid a job sort of saying, we'll give you visibility into market rate of all the building materials, but here's what the job's going to cost in labor. Here's the part we control. And they're sort of putting it back on the developer, if you will, the uncertainty parts.
How costly is reshoring, and what are the companies doing to address it?
Well, I think it's costly, but I mean, if the incentives are in there, they will reshore. But, you know, I agree with Matthew in that the new manufacturing is going to be different than the old manufacturing. The challenges will be different. Not only will they have to reshore and build things, but then they will also have to find workers to work there in a much more technological setting, and in the manufacturing of tomorrow will be very different.
Adam, why would a company access your funding and not that of traditional banks?
At Vox, our advantages are convenience and speed and accessibility. Frankly, banks, particularly the small and medium-sized companies, really don't want to lend to that kind of company. So we're there to fill a gap that banks just don't fill. That's the main reason, I would say. I mean, we're also quick and try to address the needs of a small business in a way that banks never did. But I would also say that there's just not an availability of large bank funding for small and medium-sized businesses, and it gets worse every day.
You've been working on the floor, at least you used to work on the floor of the stock exchange, and so I guess you miss those days, especially when they were very busy. So you know what the traders think and how they move, and I wonder if you think that markets in this moment are a bit complacent when it comes to trade issues, and if you think that the charcoal trade is alive and well.
Look, I don't think the markets are complacent. If there's one thing that markets are, it's not complacent. They will move when they want to move. It's just people have made their bets the way they see them. But, markets can be stable for a while and then move very fast, as we've seen. But I think that they view that some version of this tariff regime will go through. But that in the end, for all the bluster, it will be something kind of okay.
Yeah, last question for both of you. It's a bit out of the blue. Are you, in one word, optimistic or pessimistic for the future of the second half of this year for America?
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Adam?
I'm optimistic, I think. America finds a way.
Well, on this note, I really appreciate your comments, and I wish you good luck. Thank you for coming.
Terrific. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.